The First Act of The Amazons, a farcical romance by Arthur W. Pinero. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. The scene represents a thickly wooded, overgrown corner of Overcote Park. There is a small clearing up to a dense thicket, and a ragged hedge which is broken by an old 5-barred gate, while prominently in the foreground are, on the left, the stump of a felled tree, and on the right an old tree with a wide hollow in its trunk. Beyond the gate is a prospect of a woodland pierced by gleams of bright light. It is a fine, warm morning in September. Some golden leaves are on the trees, a few have fallen. The whole scene is warmly coloured and poetical in suggestion. Youatt, an aged servant in livery, opens the gate for the Reverend Roger Minchin, who advances on to the clearing. Minchin is a type of the country parson of the old school, white-haired, red-faced, hearty in manner.
No sign of her ladyship here, Youatt?
We'll find her, Mr. Minchin.
Wiping his brow.
Oof!
Closing the gate.
My lady and the family are very partial to the tangle of fine days.
The tangle?
That's what the family call this corner of the park, sir.
Looking off and removing his cap.
Here is my lady.
Miriam, Marchioness of Castlejordan, approaches carrying a camp-stool. She is a tall, splendidly handsome woman of middle age. Shaking hands heartily with Minchin.
Mr. Minchin.
How are you?
You so seldom come to see me. Shall we walk back to the hall?
If you don't mind.
Get your wind? Certainly. Youatt, has Shooter gone to the station to meet Lord Noel?
I believe so, my lady.
Youatt goes away through the gateway.
Well, I see what you're thinking about.
Lord Noel? That's Lady Noeline?
From your point of view, yes.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Noel has been staying with the Mrs. Vipont in town for some weeks. The Viponts have been kept in London, you know, by the late session. I've missed Noel sadly.
Referring to her watch.
He will be at the hall in half an hour.
Will he? And your two other boys?
They spent their August in Scotland. They've been home some days.
Walking about restlessly.
It chafes me so to think I am not at the station myself to meet my eldest son.
You've deputed whom, did I hear you say?
Sergeant Shooter.
Man or woman?
From your point of view, woman, I suppose.
Why, Sergeant?
Late husband held that rank in Castlejordan's old regiment.
What duties does he perform here?
Teaches my boys boxing, fencing, athletics generally.
Oh.
A splendid fellow. At the same time, I should dearly like to have gone to Scrumley Station to meet Noel.
You're detained here, I gather?
Detained? I don't venture beyond the park nowadays more than I can help. You know why, surely.
Well...
You know what they call me outside at Great Overcoat, and Little Overcoat, and at Scrumley. Ah, even in London.
Yes, yes.
The eccentric Lady Castlejordan. Eccentric.
My dear Lady Castlejordan, the truth is that I've presumed to call on you this morning in the hope that I may be permitted to modestly reason with you on this very subject.
Again?
Once more.
Sit down.
They sit, she on the camp-stool, he on the stump of a tree.
To begin with, it would be disingenuous to conceal from you that I do constantly hear very severe strictures passed upon your line of conduct.
You've heard of them for the last 10 years, ever since my husband died.
But these strictures are more severe now than ever, and with some justice. When your children were children, there was small harm in your playfully regarding them as boys, and allowing them to romp and riot. But to-day, here are 3 young women.
No.
3 strapping young women.
No.
I will repeat, I do repeat, 3 bouncing young women.
Well, in detail, I admit my children are perhaps what you describe, but in disposition, in mind, in muscle, they are 3 fine stalwart young fellows.
But Great Overcott and Little Overcott and Scrumley do not look upon them as...
A Great Overcoat, a Little Overcoat, and Scrumley are competent judges of my bitter heart-burnings and disappointments. You knew Jack, my husband?
Ah, yes, indeed.
What was he?
A gentle giant, a grand piece of muscular humanity. In frame, the Vikings must have been of the same pattern.
And you remember me as I was 20 years ago?
Looking at her.
I've no excuse for forgetting.
I was a fit mate for my husband.
Perfect.
Even in Jack's time I never scaled less than 10 stone, and he could lift me as if I were a sawdust doll. Old friend, oh, old friend, what a son my son and Jack's ought to have been!
She goes to the gate and leans upon it, turning her back to Minchin, who has also risen.
But it didn't please Providence to send you a son.
Beating the gate.
Oh, oh!
Come, do learn to view the matter resignedly.
Girls, girls!
It's an old story now.
Girls!
Why despise girls? Many people like girls. Bless my heart, I like girls.
You can recall Nolene's arrival. I was sure she was going to be a boy. So was Jack. I knew it. So did Jack. The child was to be christened Noel, Jack's second name.
Yes, I was up at the hall that night, smoking with Castlejordan to keep him quiet.
Poor dear, I remember his bending over me afterwards and whispering, "Damn it, Miriam, you've lost a whole season's hunting for nothing." Then the second.
Lady Wilhelmina?
Yes, Billy came next. Jack wouldn't speak to me for a couple of months after that. The only fallout we ever had.
But your third, Lady Thomason?
Dearest Tommy, oh, by that time Jack and I had agreed to regard anything that was born to us as a boy, and to treat it accordingly, and for the rest of his life my husband taught our 3 children. There never was another. To ride, fish, shoot, swim, fence, fight, wrestle, throw, run, jump, until they were as hardy as Indians and their muscles burst the sleeves of their jackets. And when Jack went, I continued their old training. Of course I recognise my boy's little deficiencies, but I am making the best of the great disappointment of my life, and well, call me the eccentric Lady Castlejordan. What do I care?
She sits wiping her eyes.
Ah, well, I've great sympathy, but I really do think that the time has arrived now.
Now? Pardon me, but you can't know what you're talking about.
Eh?
You haven't forgotten, have you, that the title went to my husband's brother in default of my being the mother of a complete boy?
Of course I haven't.
And that this man, the present Lord Castlejordan, a wizened creature without shoulders, has a son?
I know that.
A son! A Lady Castlejordan, a wisp of a woman with a mouth like a rabbit's. And they have a son.
Lord Litterly, he's at Oxford.
He has just come down. And what do you think? That young man has carried everything before him at the university. Everything.
Why, I heard he'd failed even to take a pass degree.
Bother his degree. He was first string in the mile and quarter mile against Cambridge at Queen's Club. He got his cricket blue, and came within 2 of making his century at Lord's. And in rugby football he was the best three-quarter back in the Oxford 15 that's been known for the last 25 years. Oh, the torture of it!
Now, come, I don't see.
You don't see that this is the son Jack and I ought to have had? No.
Pacing to and fro.
Heavens! If this young man had been sickly, stunted, freckled, weak, anemic, red-eyed, narrow-chested...
Hush, hush.
Or better still, hump-backed, with one short leg, it might have made me a more contented, gentler woman. But as it is...
Now.
And you choose this moment for suggesting that I should look matters straight in the face, and realise the melancholy maternal muddle I've made?
You know, I've had an idea for some time past. But there you are not on friendly terms with the present Lord Castlejordan and his family?
Friendly terms?
Because it has often struck me that it might be a small consolation to you to know this young man.
Never.
Tut, you might grow to be fond of Lord Litterly.
Fond of him? Fond of the youth that nature, for whom I've done so much, has taken from me and given to that insignificant little woman? No, never shall one of us exchange a word even with one of them. Never, I say, never.
Oh dear.
Lady Wilhelmina Belturbet enters below the hedge. She is a sweet-looking girl of 19, quite gentle and feminine. Her attire is a compromise between a boy's and a woman's. Her Norfolk jacket reaches almost to her knees, and her lower limbs are encased in stout leather gaiters. She carries a fishing rod in its case, and, across her shoulders, an ordinary wicker fishing basket.
Why, it's Mr. Minchin. Oh, mother dear, Mr. Minchin.
Shaking hands with him warmly.
And how are you? Hey, any sport?
Slipping her basket from her shoulders.
I'm on my way down. There's a little too much wind, I fancy. I've turned into the shelter here to tie a fly.
Opening the basket.
Let me help you.
What is Tommy doing this morning?
Giving the grey mare a lesson over the hurdles.
Dangerous work.
Please don't put such ideas into my boys' heads.
Walking away. Minchin and Wilhelmina sit side by side on the stump of the tree, he with her tackle-box in his hand. Putting on his spectacles.
Now then, what are your flies?
Red Septembers and mottled spinners.
Ah, you're a knowing one.
He ties the fly.
Have you and mother been talking?
What do you think we have been doing? Playing leapfrog?
I mean talking about us boys.
Pliers.
Handing the pliers.
I guess you have, Mr. Minchin, dear. Mother isn't worried about us, is she? Me particularly.
I can answer that. No, she isn't. I am. Silk.
Giving the silk to him.
I'm glad she's not worried, because do you know, I'm afraid I'm going to be a great sorrow to her.
You?
I've a foreboding I shall turn out badly.
In what way?
Oh, I'm getting worse every day, Mr. Minchin. I'm becoming so very effeminate.
He looks at her for a moment.
Ho!
Hush, hush.
Scissors, go on.
It's nice to talk to you. Shall I tell you something rather funny about Tommy and myself?
Do if you ought to.
I don't think I ought to.
Well, then, my dear, If you are at all uncertain about it, perhaps it would be better.
Yes, you're right.
Perhaps it would be better that you should tell me.
Oh, well, you know, Tommy and I have been staying up at Drumdurrus with little Lady Drum.
Have you?
There was a very large house party, men and women.
He glances involuntarily at her gaiters.
Oh, we always visit in our skirts, of course.
Yes.
Well, you'll never guess. Tommy had an offer of marriage.
Ho, ho!
Hush, you'll fall off.
That tomboy too? Now, if such a thing had happened to you,
Mr. Minchin!
Eh?
It did happen to me also.
Looking round, Lady Castlejordan reappears.
Mother! I'm in the way, I expect.
No.
My fly, please, thank you.
She takes the fly from him. The hook runs into his finger.
Yeah!
You're hooked.
Extracting the hook,
I am sorry.
she gathers her tackle together and goes to the gate.
I heard your laugh a long way off. What amuses you?
Got a hook in my finger.
How good-humoured you are.
Here's Tommy. Tom, hello.
The call is returned, and Lady Thomasin Belturbet, a bright, rosy, rather rough-mannered girl of 18, appears and leaps the gate. She is in man's riding dress, smartly and perfectly turned out from cap to boots.
Mr. Minchin has called to see us.
Good man, how are you?
Shaking hands heartily with Minchin.
Missed you at breakfast, mater.
Kissing Lady Castlejordan.
Mr. Minchin, how's the old horse?
Ah.
Shaking his head.
I thought he went rather gingerly on that near 4 of his when you rode over in the summer. Look here, you come and have a spin with me round the park one morning. We'll give you a mount. What do you say?
Looking her up and down.
My young friend, I'm afraid I could not ride with you while you are in such an attire as I now see you in.
Mr. Minchin, Tommy, talk to your brother.
Thomasin joins Wilhelmina, and they talk together. Advancing to Lady Castlejordan.
Lady Castlejordan, I must say it. I am a little shocked.
I don't understand you.
Pardon me, is that a proper dress for a young woman to scamper about in?
It is all a question of environment. The poor African in her solitary row of beads is as discreet as the best-dressed woman in town. I will not have my boy's unconsciousness disturbed.
I ought to tell you this. I hear that the Overcott and Scrumley people spend the afternoons of their early closing Wednesdays in hanging about the skirts of your park.
Vulgar curiosity.
There, I wonder your park has skirts.
I have built 5 lodges round Overcote Park, expressly to protect us from intruders, with the exception of one privileged old friend, yourself. No one enters the park but on my fortnightly Thursdays.
Glancing over his shoulder.
And then?
Then my boys disguise themselves in petticoats. I think I may boast that no boys have sweeter frocks than my boy.
Wilhelmina and Thomasin stroll away. Seeing that he is alone with Lady Castlejordan.
One word more, Lady Castlejordan. Assuming just for the sake of argument that your boys are girls, may I ask you what you'd do if they should ever be asked in marriage?
Oh, my dear Mr. Minchin.
Aha!
Do you know you've chanced on a supposition that has been a reality? While Willie and Tommy, Wilhelmina and Thomasin, were staying at Drumdurrus Castle, 2 men fell in love with them.
And in the name of common sense, why not?
Men, I call them, insects. Merciful powers, one was a Frenchman.
Well?
A creature who has doubtless shot a fox.
The other?
Little Lord Tweenways.
Tweenways, a fine race, the Fitzbrays.
Fine?
Why, Godefroy de Fitzbray was one of Richard's knights in the Crusade.
No Fitzbray has ever stood higher than 5 feet 5 in his boots. They're a shrivelled, puny line. The present Lord Tweenways inherits the accumulated ailments of all his ancestors, and he presumes—
Thomasin and Wilhelmina reappear.
Shh!
Mr. Minchin, walk up to the hall with me. We shall be just in time to greet Lord Noel. I'll tell you about this business as we stroll along.
Minchin opens the gate.
My dear boys, don't come with us. It's so long since I've seen Mr. Minchin.
Very well, mother dear.
All right, mater.
As she and Minchin walk away.
Isn't that scrumbly church chime? We shall be late.
Minchin and Lady Castlejordan disappear. Thomasin sits on the tree stump.
So you think that, do you, Billy?
Sure of it.
But why should the parson concern himself about us?
He thinks we're girls, you know, Tommy dear.
Well, we ain't, my dear William, so he's out of it.
Approaching Thomasin and kneeling beside her.
Tom, don't you ever feel like a girl?
I? Well, I should hope not.
But how do you know you don't? I'm sometimes afraid I do.
That's 'cause you had measles too late in life and got your blood thin. You're a manly young chap enough, considerin'.
Am I?
Of course, you're not to be compared with old Noel. He is the pick of our basket.
Yes, he's very nice.
Nice? What silly words you use! Why, he's the best all-round sportsman our side of the county. Even I own that. Nice. And he's a fellow that reads books, too. I never could open a book. Nice. Well, he's just my notion of what a young Englishman ought to be. Hello, what's that in the hollow of that tree?
Quickly going across to the tree.
Oh, can you see it?
See it?
It must have slipped down. It's my guitar.
Drawing a guitar case from the hollow of the tree.
What the deuce?
Mother heard me playing in my room and stopped me. She says it's girlish.
Rubbish. The troubadours always played guitars. Oh, I say, ain't I well informed?
Taking the guitar from its case.
So I hid it here thinking I'd creep down to the tangle sometimes and sing to myself.
Hard lines. Won't the mater let you play anything?
Tuning the guitar.
She's promised to give me a cornet.
Good business. Tune up, William. Anything pretty. Bar love rot, you know.
Ah, it's so damp.
As Wilhelmina is about to sing, Thomasin raises herself suddenly.
Look out, who's coming?
Wilhelmina hastily conceals the guitar and case below the tree. Lady Noeline Belturbet and Shooter are seen going towards the gate. Noeline is a handsome, imperious girl of 20. She wears the ordinary travelling costume of a young lady. Shooter is a good-looking woman of about 30, suggesting by her manner and dress an association with the army. Noeline has a set, serious look upon her face. Shooter carries a travelling bag.
Noel!
Jumping up.
Noel!
Boys!
Wilhelmina and Thomasin grip Noeline's hands in manly fashion.
How are you?
How are you?
How are you?
How's the mother?
She was here just now with Mr. Minchin.
They've gone up to the hall to meet you, I expect.
I got out of the carriage at the East Lodge for the sake of a walk across the park. Sergeant?
Yes, my lord.
Go on ahead. Tell my mother where I am. Don't stare at me like that, please.
All right, my lord.
She goes off through the gate.
What is the sergeant staring at?
Looking into Noeline's face.
Oh!
Looking at Noeline.
By Jove, you don't look very fit.
Nonsense.
Glad to get back?
Putting her hands on their shoulders.
Glad? Rather.
Good man.
Let's sit down. Perhaps I am rather out of condition. London isn't Scotland.
Thomasin hands Noeline a cigarette case, from which she takes a cigarette, passing on the case to Wilhelmina. Taking a cigarette.
Thanks.
They light their cigarettes.
You'll find these something good. I'm giving a new firm a leg up.
Boys, I had your letters. So you got into a little difficulty at Drumdorris?
Tweenways.
Proposed, didn't he?
I should think he did.
Nuisance, eh?
Horrid bore. Enough to turn any fellow against his holidays.
What about you, Willie?
Turning away slightly.
A friend of Lord Tweenway's.
Andre de Greville. You know, the usual thing. Plenty of moustache and vivacity.
Proposed?
Oh, yes.
Strutting about.
They behaved decently, I will say. They did go to Lady Drumdorris first, and Egidia in a great commotion wrote off to the mater.
Sitting on the tree stump beside Noeline.
But they couldn't wait for Mother's reply.
Caddish.
Perhaps Monsieur de Grival is ignorant of our customs.
Tweenways isn't.
Putting her arm round Noeline's waist.
You're vexed. It wasn't our fault.
Kissing Noeline furtively.
You know, Tommy looked rather pretty up north.
Looking into Wilhelmina's face.
I dare say.
Noeline kisses Wilhelmina. Taking Noeline's hand. Looking at Noeline's hand suddenly.
Ah! Oh, where's your ring?
Snatching her hand away and concealing it.
What?
Your ring, the Belturbet ring.
It's in my case.
Noeline, you know Mother believes it never leaves your finger.
Thomasin takes up the guitar and sounds the strings.
What's that?
My guitar.
Sing to me, Willie. The train always upsets my nerves. Then we'll all walk home together.
Wilhelmina takes the guitar and, leaning against the hollow tree, sings a pretty melody. Thomasin sits on the gate. Noeline remains on the tree stump. As the song nears its close, she sinks to the ground, and, leaning her head on the stump, utters hysterical sounds.
Oh, oh dear, oh dear.
Wilhelmina, dropping her guitar, runs with Thomasin to Noeline, raising her.
Here, hold up, old man.
Noel, dear Noel.
Oh, boys, boys, I'm so upset.
What's amiss?
Do tell us.
Wait a second, I will tell you. I must tell somebody.
She walks up and down, composing herself. The others stand together and look on wonderingly. To Wilhelmina.
Eh?
To Thomasin.
I can't think.
I'm all right. I say, you fellows, I got into a bit of a mess the night before last. A scrape, a bother.
Did you?
Oh!
How?
You know Mrs. Vipont and her husband went down into Surrey to a political meeting he was to speak at, and as they couldn't catch the last train home, they slept at Sir Henry Carholt's at Chilmere. I didn't go, for 2 reasons. Never-ending politics bore me. And then I wanted to profit by their absence to see London.
See London?
Why, you have been seeing London for the last 5 weeks.
Oh, yes, in my petticoats, shopping with Florence in the morning, the Forlorn Park in the afternoon, her Cockney exhibition in the evening. I wanted to view London from the same standpoint from which we've been brought up to see things here at Overcote.
Good man.
Yes, that's it. I felt that if I could only parade the streets as a man, at the hour when all the namby-pamby women of our class are being escorted here or there, lifted in and out of carriages, wrapped about in soft cloaks, half smothered by polite attentions, if only I could do this, I should indeed be a man. I wanted to swagger along unnoticed, to fling away my half-burnt cigarette, to see it caught up still sparkling by a ragged urchin, to throw a coin to a crossing sweeper, to be shoved and elbowed by a noisy crowd, even to be sworn at. Boys, I felt that if I could only do this, I should be less like a girl than ever.
Oh, why wasn't I with you?
And did you do it?
Yes, I did it.
Sitting on the camp stool.
I did it.
Oh-ho-ho!
Sitting.
You hadn't your dress clothes in town with you, Noel.
Kneeling beside Noel.
No, but I was obliged to make a confidant of Dawkins, the woman who valeted me in Chesham Street, and she and I raked out a dress suit of Bobby Vipont's. Bobby's in Switzerland, you know. He's 17 and just my height, but everything I borrowed of him, except his white necktie, was a beastly fit. However, I was well hidden by his Inverness cape, so it didn't matter a row of pins. Then I crammed my hair under a wig that had been left over from Lucy Vipont's birthday theatricals, and then Dawkins let me out.
What did you do? Where did you go to?
Stamping her feet.
I did the West End. I didn't like it. I didn't care for anything I saw. I was tired. I was returning home. Then I got into this mess.
Oh, dear.
I saw a man about to hit a girl. He'd got his arm back, his fist against his shoulder. He meant it. So did I. Boys, you know what I can do. Well, before you could have said jinx, I'd slipped my big ring into Bobby Vipont's trouser pocket, and I'd landed the monster.
Putting her fist under Wilhelmina's chin.
Just here, Willie dear.
Thomasin jumps up excitedly.
Noel!
I've often knocked out Sergeant Shooter in the same way, but always with gloves on.
Rubbing her hand with aversion.
Oh, you don't know what it's like to get home on a strange man's chin without the gloves on.
Did he go down?
Down?
Nodding and staring at the ground in agitation.
I see him there constantly. I tumble over him in my sleep.
Going to Thomasin.
Oh, Tommy, Tommy.
Go on, don't stop.
There was a crowd. Men and women grew out of the pavement.
Brutes!
No, they were friendly. They called me Governor. Let him have it again, Governor, one person advised. An awful unanimous desire seemed to possess them all to mind what they called my togs. My hat, Bobby Vipont's hat, went in a twinkling. Then terrible hands, hundreds of hands, I fancied, of all shapes and sizes, were laid on my cape. I wrenched myself free and broke away, hitting about like a woman then, right and left. And I ran till I fainted.
You fainted? You?
Why, don't men faint sometimes?
What became of you?
When I came to, I was lying on a sofa in a strange room, and a young fellow was sitting a little way off watching me.
Noel!
Noel!
Well?
Well? Well?
I'd fallen almost into his arms, he'd explained. He'd taken me to his lodgings to get me round. He spoke as a gentleman speaks. He liked the look of me, he said.
Biting her lips.
How did he convey you to his rooms?
Noeline shakes her head.
Were you on a level with the street?
No, first floor.
How did he get you upstairs?
Rocking herself to and fro.
That's just it.
Frowning.
Think he guessed you weren't the usual sort of young man?
I don't know what to think.
Wilhelmina bursts into tears.
By Jove, this isn't a very nice accident to befall a young lady.
Hitting her boots with her crop, angrily.
Tom!
Looking up.
Yes, you were sent to town as a young lady. A fellow's sister, too. Well? Well? Well?
He lent me a cap, expecting me, I suppose, to ask his name, but I snatched the cap from him and bolted down his stairs into the street. The dawn was just breaking when I found a cab. Dawkins put me to bed in a rage. When I got up, I burnt the cap and gave Dawkins £2 and a cigarette-holder.
Wringing her hands.
Oh! Oh!
Wilhelmina sobs.
You shut up, William. After all, beyond the indignity and the humiliation of the thing, you're none the worse for the little outing.
Holding out her hand.
My ring! The Belturbet ring!
Eh?
The big ring that has never left a Belturbet's hand for so many hundreds of years.
Not gone?
It must have fallen out of the pocket of Bobby Vipont's silly trousers.
Jupiter! The mater's angry only about once a year. This'll be it. Look out, here they are.
Wilhelmina hastily conceals the guitar and its case in the hollow of the tree. Noeline draws on her gloves. Lady Castlejordan, Minchin, and Shooter come through the gate.
My dear boy.
Embracing Noeline. Looking into Noeline's face, uneasily.
Ah, London has taken all that fine bronze tint out of your face. There's Mr. Minchin. Shooter!
Shooter advances, taking a letter from her pocket.
Mrs. Vipont asked me to give you that, mother.
She hands Lady Castlejordan the note, and joins Minchin, Wilhelmina, and Thomasin. To Shooter while opening the note.
Sergeant?
Yes, my lady?
Certainly, I do notice it. Lord Noel looks terribly flabby.
I shall see what he does with the barbells tonight in the gymnasium.
Reading the note to herself.
Oh, dear Miriam, please come to town at once to hear a statement from Clara Dawkins, my maid. Say nothing yet to Noeline, as we may find the woman untruthful. Yours affectionately, Florence Vipont. Mercy, what has occurred? Mr. Minchin!
Minchin approaches and Shooter retires. The girls gather together.
Old friend, will you take me to London this morning?
I?
I must be protected from annoyance at Great Overcoat and Scrumley. If you won't...
But I will.
Oh, thank you. Not a word.
She goes hurriedly away through the gate.
Lady Castlejordan?
He follows her. Shooter goes after them, going to the gate.
Anything wrong, Sergeant?
Closing the gate.
Hope not, my lord.
Shooter disappears.
Why is the mater so taken up with Mr. Minchin to-day?
It gives one a breathing time, at any rate. Come, boys, we'll go down to the bridge till lunch. Billy, bring the banjo.
Wilhelmina produces the guitar again.
Yes, let's forget for a little while that you've lost Dad's ring. By Jove, it's ripping to be all together again, ain't it?
Ah, Tom, I wish we hadn't left home this summer, any of us.
Slapping her on the back.
Cheer up, old man.
I mean to. After lunch we'll have a pop at the partridges. Confound London. Hateful London.
Noeline and Thomasin go off below the hedge. Running after them with the guitar.
Wait for me, you fellows, wait for me.
After a few moments, André de Grival emerges cautiously from the bush and undergrowth on the left below the hedge. De Grival is a good-looking, animated young Frenchman, of the type of a Grevin caricature. He speaks fluently, but his pronunciation and inflections are, like his appearance and general demeanour, very French. Pieces of twig and bracken cling to his clothes, and his necktie is disarranged. Looking about him.
Where have we got to? Where is it?
Wiping his brow.
I'm hot. 'Tween ways, my dear fellow, 'tween ways.
The Earl of Tweenways crawls out of the thicket on his stomach, painfully.
'Tween ways, my friend. Here we are sheltered. We may stand upright.
Lord Tweenways rises. He is a short, thin, weak-looking man of about 33, with a pale, emaciated face and red eyes. Although a most insignificant person, his bearing is full of affectation, and his tone a haughty one. He is more disarranged and dishevelled than his companion. His clothes are covered with bracken, his hat and pocket are full of leaves, his knickerbockers are green and soiled at the knees, and, at one knee, there is a small rent.
You don't think we've been observed?
Impossible. We crawl like alligators. Allow me.
Picking the bracken from Tweenway's clothes, and otherwise putting him in order.
That was a good place at which to enter the park, between two lodges, not in sight of each. There you are.
Thank you. Let me render you a similar service.
Turning his back to Tweenways.
My friend.
Tweenways fastidiously removes one piece of bracken from de Grival's coat.
Yes, I certainly did discover the one weak spot in the fortification.
Removing the bracken from the front of his coat.
Pardon me, I found it.
I found it?
No, I found it.
I dare say you're right.
He replaces the piece of bracken on de Grival's coat and moves away.
Thank you. At all event we are here. To fancy I'm once more near Wilhelmina, breathing the air she breathes, listening to the birds that sings to her, looking at...
To Tweenways, who is sitting emptying his pockets of leaves.
My friend, you have scratched your nose.
No.
Applying his handkerchief.
Yes, it is so. Ha! This is characteristic of us. We have never hesitated to shed our blood freely for those on whom we have bestowed our affection.
We? Us? You and me?
No. My race. My family. We have always been remarkable for our ardent passions. Our loves have made history, you know.
Lady Castlejordan's objection to you as a suitor for Lady Thomasine, have you heard it?
Heard it? She objects to my stature, my whole physical fabric, in fact. She is crazy on the subject of muscular development.
Feeling his muscles and hitting the air.
Yes,
Kicking vigorously. Regarding de Graval disdainfully.
We have never been coarse, brawny men, always delicate, fragile, with transparent veins. Our women are especially interesting. An eminent surgeon once assured me that he could make out the osteological structure of any one of our women by placing her before a lighted candle and looking at her on the dark side. We...
And I am rejected because I'm a Frenchman, ah?
Well, frankly, with families who have made history, I can quite understand that... But why pain you?
But I am English.
My dear de Graval.
English to my backbone, French by birth, yes, but so long educated in England. English is my appearance, manner, voice. I play your games, follow your sport, I speak the idiom of your language. I say, don't you know? Frequently I learn your proverbs. A great many cooks spoil your broth. Honesty is the best thing to do, a stick in time. All of them by heart, I say, damn it all, in the smoking room. And still I am French, bah!
All I can say is I've known you some time and, well, we are judges of men.
My friend, and we stick together in this affair?
I will not leave this neighbourhood till I have personally renewed my proposal to Lady Thomasine. I am pleased to have your companionship.
But do we understand each other? For example, if one of us was asked up to the hall, that one would not march in and leave the other his friend on the outside?
Speaking for myself, if I, dined at Overcote Hall without you, I should certainly make quite a point of alluding to you generously during the evening.
Alluding, thank you very much, but never reckon your ducks, your chickens.
Snapping his fingers in Tweenway's face.
Don't you know?
Monsieur de Graval.
Walking away.
La la la.
Oh.
They walk about angrily, then meet again. After a display of indignation, Tweenways removes a piece of the bracken from de Graval's coat. Turning, conciliated.
Ah, my friend.
Suddenly in evident pain.
Oh, dear me!
Tweenways, you have it again.
Breathing.
No, the other was sciatica. This is cramp.
Cramp?
We have cramp. We have sciatica also, but every alternate generation has the cramp bias very clearly defined. Oh dear, dear!
This from creeping through the underwood. What to do?
It will pass.
I suffer with you.
Rocking himself to and fro.
Our cramp has made history. My mother quotes an old distich. Cold the wind and damp the day, cramp shall seize the true Fitzbray.
Lord Litterly appears above the hedge, and, seeing Tweenways and de Graval, he looks cautiously over the gate. He is a handsome young man, with the frame of an athlete, and an air of indolence. To himself.
I'll swear to that back.
Aloud.
I say.
Turning.
Eh?
Going to the gate.
My dear Barrington.
Opening the gate.
Andre.
They shake hands. Tweenways groans.
Oh.
To de Graval.
Who's your pal?
Looking round.
How do you do, Litterly?
Why, Tweeny! What are you making that noise for?
The cramps.
Producing a little silver flask from his waistcoat pocket.
Cramp. Take a pull.
Tweenwayes drinks.
Why, we three haven't met since Lady Twombly's jolly dance that hot night in July. I say, what's this place?
Overcott Park.
No. Then it's my aunt's place.
Certainly it is.
Lady Castlejordan, your aunt? Ah, I see it.
The eccentric Lady Castlejordan, they call her, poor lady. Are you visiting?
Tweenwayes and de Grival exchange looks.
What's up?
Pardon me if I speak to Tweenwayes.
De Grival and Tweenwayes consult together. To himself.
I say, suppose the young man I picked up, I mean the young woman I picked up, turns out to be my...
With a prolonged whistle.
I say.
To Litterly.
No, we are not visiting Litterly. Are you?
I? My people and the Overcoat Park people have been daggers drawn for years.
You will, I am convinced, thank me, Litterly, for letting you know that no one is permitted to enter this park except on Lady Castlejordan's reception days.
Sitting lazily.
So I believe. My cousins are rather uncommon in their rig-outs, I've heard.
Yes, but here you are, my dear Litterly.
And here you are, my dear Tweeny.
Excuse me.
De Grival and Tweenwayes again consult. Litterly makes a cigarette calmly.
My dear Barrington, we admit we have no rights here. The short of it is, we desire to meet Lady Wilhelmina Belturbet.
And Lady Thomasin.
Ladies we've had the joy of knowing at Drumdaris.
I say, is that it?
Today we discover the only way to enter this park without notice.
You think so? Well, no one saw me wriggle through a break in the fence, I swear.
Ah, we came through the fence also.
My dear aunt ought to have the park palings looked to.
Pointing to the left.
Over there.
Pointing to the right.
Over there.
Pish!
Pardon me.
Tweenwayes and de Grival again consult. Litterly chuckles.
My dear Litterly, it is our deliberate intention to conceal ourselves in Overcoat Park until we encounter these ladies. I need hardly tell you that any assistance you can render us, in the shape of leaving us to ourselves, we shall esteem highly.
Sitting on the grass, leaning lazily against the tree stump.
I say, I was about to make a similar suggestion to you, old chap. I'm going to hang about here, too.
May I ask?
Why not? I'm a little interested in a lady I've just seen entering the park. I've followed her from town, in point of fact, in the hope of getting a few words with her on the quiet. So, you see, Tweeny, you can't have the field quite to yourself.
Tweenwayes and de Grival consult together with great animation.
I resent this. I resent it.
Damn it all.
We don't brook obstacles.
A great many cooks, damn it all.
If this had occurred a few centuries ago, we should have simply slain the fellow.
After further muttered conversation, they returned to Litterly.
My dear Barrington, it seems to us that as we are all trespassers here, and as our interests run on somewhat parallel lines, the best course we can adopt is to...
Stick together.
Pals? I say, just as you like. Don't put yourselves out.
Good, this is good. Union is strength, don't you know?
From the distance there comes the sound of the girls' voices, singing to the accompaniment of the guitar, and gradually drawing near.
Hark!
Hark!
It's coming here. We better get out of sight.
Certainly.
To Litterly.
Barrington, you will be looked at.
De Grival goes off quickly.
Litterly! Litterly!
Preparing to rise.
All right, old chap, I'm moving along.
Upon my word, Lord Litterly.
Going down upon his hands and knees and crawling into the thicket, scowling at Litterly.
Fool! Fool!
He disappears, rising slowly and listening.
Girls' voices? Girls?
He walks off after de Grival. Then Noeline, Wilhelmina, and Thomasin come along singing. Near the gate, speaking to Wilhelmina.
Look out, Billy, here's the sergeant.
They cease singing. Wilhelmina hurriedly returns the guitar to its hiding place. Thomasin stands, shielding Wilhelmina, as Shooter approaches. From the other side of the gate.
My lady would like to see you up at the hall directly. She wants to say goodbye.
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 Milady's just off to town.
To town?
What for?
Going to London.
Mother has been sent for by the lawyers, perhaps.
She's going to see the dentist, very likely.
Hairdresser, I think. Mater's hair is coming out in sackfuls.
Dressmaker, I believe.
Or bootmaker. Mater hasn't got a decent shoe to her back. I mean...
Don't stand here guessing. Come on, boys.
Shooter opens the gate. Thomasin shoulders the campstool. Wilhelmina picks up her rod and basket. The three girls disappear, and Shooter follows. Then de Grival returns excitedly. To his companions.
St! St!
Tweenways crawls from out the thicket. Litterly re-enters leisurely.
Wilhelmina, I have seen Wilhelmina.
Hush! Thomasin! I have heard Thomasin!
To himself.
My cousin? The boy I picked up. Well, the girl I picked up. My cousin!
To Tweenways.
Did you hear? Lady Castlejordan goes to London. Do you understand that?
Dash it! Do you think I'm obtuse?
What fortune! The mother goes. We see them, talk with them, walk with them. La la la, love laughs at blacksmiths, don't you know?
He dances about fantastically. Litterly sits thoughtfully. The girls are heard singing again, their voices gradually becoming more distant. Rushing to the gate.
Again!
Litterly rises on hearing the singing, and, running to the gate, climbs onto the middle bar and looks off.
You'll be seen by the maid!
Going down on his hands and knees, and crawling to the gate.
Fool! Fool!
He puts his head under the lower bar to watch the girls. The girls are still singing in the distance. End of the first act.